time goes on, and the first thing we needed to do was choose which songs we were doing. And for most of the songs, I basically left it up to the others. I was asking, for suggestions, and then would weigh in and say, I like this one, I like that one, and so on and so forth. But the thing about this is, like, when it comes to Japanese music, when it comes to stuff like Vocaloid or anime intros and stuff like that, I'm very unfamiliar with that kind of music, and that's, the kind of the pool of things we were working with. So I just sort of had to leave it to the others, and then I was like, well, I'm just gonna have to learn a lot of new music. And the song, we all kind of came to a point where we had chosen stuff. But then I had some other choices for mine that actually, when I submitted my choices, King was not one of them, actually, because I hadn't occurred to me. I suggested some basically just songs from anime that I'd seen. One of the ones I thought about doing was Period by Chemistry, the intro from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I really like that song. My number one choice actually was a suggestion from, I chatted with Marilyn about this a long time ago, and I asked her, I said, my suggestion to her, and I asked her for some help, and I said, I really want something that's gonna hype up the crowd, like something where they'll hear the start of it and go, oh, it's this, and then I can bring a lot of energy. And her suggestion, which was my first choice for a while, was Balalaika. I really like that song, and that's why during the group karaoke that we did back in, I think, November, that's why when Marilyn sang that, I joined in. I don't know it very well still, because ultimately I didn't go with that, but that would have been my solo. That was my first choice for a while. But then had a meeting with Mane-san, as we do. We have one-on-ones with our managers quite often. Spoke with Mane-san, and Mane-san, I said, I'm really keen on these songs. Another song I thought about doing was Daddy Daddy Do. I really like that song as well, but I was like, I wanted to do it, but I was like, it seems good, but I wanted to do that one, but then I thought, I asked Mane-san, I was like, listen, you know this music scene better than I do. You know this music scene a lot better than I do. Can you help me understand what would get the most sort of hype out of the crowd? And Mane-san kind of smirked and was like, check this out, and sent me and I didn't need to send it to me because I'd heard it before. Reminded me that King existed, and I looked at it and I was like, okay. I was like, it has to be that. It has to be that. Because I've gone on record before and talked about King in an interesting way, because King is a song that everyone and their grandmother has covered. It's like it's a piece of VTuber history, of of NIJISANJI history, and of whole life history, indie history. But I had said, well, I'm not really into Vocaloid. I'd rather express myself and do things in my own way and do things that people aren't expecting me to do, which is why King was so perfect. Because I've made such a big deal out of doing things that are, really specific to me in the past, the idea of then suddenly, after having made 2 films, which, is very, very, a very me thing to do, doubling back and saying, no, the most expected thing is now the most unexpected. I'm going to do a Vocaloid song, which I've gone on record saying Vocaloid's not really my thing. And it's also the Vocaloid song that everyone has covered. And I was like, fuck it, now is when I'm going to do it. And I'm really happy with how it went. And also, I owe Mane-san big time for helping me understand how I should approach singing it. Mane-san sent me a cover by this guy called Chogakuse, which I listened to a lot. And that King is such a high song that I struggled. It's such a high-pitched song that even when singing an octave down, the chorus still really peaks at the top of my range. Like, even an octave down, I was like, this is now becoming too high again, right? It's a very tricky song to sing, but I'm so glad that I got it down in the end and became really confident in it.